Hello and welcome to today's episode of Scrapnik TV. Today I'm going to be working with my new mini that's free in my resource library today called Negative Nancy. I had to chuckle when I got the request for this because while I have heard that term before, I never really thought about doing a kit or a mini kit about it. And I actually have a sister-in-law named Nancy, and she's not a negative person, like she's awesome. So I just kind of had to laugh when I heard the title. But it's been a fun kit to do because I think so many times we scrapbook a lot of the fun things in life and the good things in life. And sometimes it's nice to remember the not so good times when we're not feeling very positive. The picture that I'm scrapping today is my daughter right after she had her tonsils removed last year. And her look on her face as I pulled out my camera says it all. But I wanted to remember not only the before pictures, but the after, and just that it wasn't an easy thing, and that she was a trooper for enduring it. So today's technique is going to be about using layers, paper strips and paper layers as a design element. So here I've got, this background paper, and I've got my photo, and I've got, a few little elements here, but I'm going to show how we can really spice up this layout just by using papers. And that works really well when you're working with a mini kit, because mini kits often don't have a lot of elements and a lot of things in it to work with. And so if you want to make it look, simple layouts are great, but if you're wanting to kind of make it look like you maybe had more to work with than you did, paper layers are the way to go. So I got to this point here, and I'm just going to come down, and I drew this rectangle that I've got right here. And I'm doing this in Photoshop, but this can be done in any program whatsoever. So I just used the shape tool, and now I'm going to do File, Place Linked if you're working in Photoshop, and this also works in Photoshop Elements. And I'm going to pull in one of the papers. And the check mark to accept it. And then I'm just going to clip it. If you're in an older version of Photoshop Elements, then it's Command G. If you're in newer Photoshop Elements or Photoshop, you just create clipping mask, and it clips it right there. And then remember, we add our shadow to the shape underneath. And then I can even turn this, but I want to turn the shape, not the paper, because as I'll show you, the paper makes it look like it's big. Watch the design on here as I turn it. Maybe if it will turn. There we go. So that just changes the paper that's in there, which kind of works where I turned both. But okay, so now making sure that I'm over, I have activated the layer where the paper is, and I'm going to choose a new layer. And I'm going to choose my shape tool, and I'm just going to draw another rectangle strip. I'm going to rasterize it or simplify it if you're in Photoshop Elements. And I'll add the striped paper. And clip it. And shadow the shape underneath. Okay. And then we're just going to continue like this all the way down. And this one, maybe I like to kind of turn every other one. And I have this paper with little frowny faces on it that go well with the cute little frown on her face. and clip it. Okay, and I'm just going to keep on adding the layers. Now you can even layer underneath. So if you want to come back down to like maybe where the striped layer was and add your new layer there, then you can add this layer and it's underneath. And that way it can really look kind of nice and authentic. We'll add as if you literally were gluing down different pieces of paper, strips of paper. And I don't know about you, but if you've done paper scrapping before, I think this is a much easier way to do paper layers. And then you might go back up to the top again and add your layer. So I'm going to add one more, and then, and this one I'm going to turn a little bit. I'm going to add the striped again, and I'm going to show you one thing we can do. So as you clip it, if you want to have different, show more of the stripes, you can still move the paper layer because it hasn't cut it on there. It's just clipped it, so it's still movable and can be moved. Okay. So now, what the other thing that you can do after you've got some of these, so like this top layer, I can go down and find it, and I can highlight, and you want to make sure that you activate both the paper layer and the shape. And then if I hold my Alt or Control key, or the Alt Option key, sorry, the Alt or Option key, I can drag and drag that down with me. So that's kind of a fun thing. And again, maybe I want this cute little face, smile or frowny face one with the layer shape layer underneath. And I think what I'm going to do is go down to that bottom one, the very bottom. Oh no, that's the top one there. So I want to do the one right above it. That was the new one that we dragged, and I'm just going to drag it all the way down. Okay, so now I can go to the very top of my layout, and I can actually still use some of the elements to complete this up here on top and finish scrapping. So I'm going to finish that up and get this posted, but see how much depth and just interest we added to our page by using these paper strips. And then if we add a few more little elements in our title and our journaling, it will really come together and be a full, complete page. So thank you for joining me. You can find more tutorials on YouTube or at my website, thedigicrafter.com.